Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Elson for Catholic Newsbreak. Here's what's happening this week in the news. We begin from the Vatican. In a video message to thousands of people attending the launch of the Vatican's Courtyard of the Gentiles initiative in Paris, Pope Benedict XVI said that asking questions about God is not a threat to individuals or society, just as a secular society that respects freedom of conscience is not a danger to religion. The Pope went on to say that if we are to build a world of liberty, equality, and fraternity, then believers and non-believers must feel free to be just that, equal in their right to live as individuals and in community, in accord with their convictions, and fraternal in their relations with one another. The video message was shown in the square in front of the city's Cathedral Notre Dame. The initiative, sponsored by the Pontifical Council for Culture, aims to promote friendly and respectful discussions between Christians and atheists or non-believers. In other news from the Vatican, during a morning visit to the Ardeatine caves in Rome, Pope Benedict XVI said that the most horrendous evil of crimes perpetrated by the Nazis are reminders that recognizing one another as brothers and sisters created by the same God is a choice and not necessarily something instinctual. The Pope was visiting the memorial to 335 Italians, mostly civilians, who were executed there in retaliation for an attack on Nazi soldiers. Rome Reports has more on the visit.
Benedict XVI visited the Roman site Fosse Ardeatine, where Nazi soldiers executed 335 civilians in 1944. Among those killed, 75 were Jewish. Rome's chief rabbi, Riccardo di Segni, joined the Pope in the act of remembering the victims. Hitler ordered that 10 Italians be killed for every German that died from a bomb set off by Italian partisans. Benedict XVI described the event as a grave offense against God.
Ciò che qui è avvenuto il 24 marzo 1944 è offesa gravissima a Dio, perché la violenza deliberata dell'uomo sull'uomo.
The Pope laid flowers at the monument that remembers the massacre and recited words written by one of the prisoners.
Credo in Dio e nell'Italia. Questa espressione mi ha colpito, anche perché quest'anno ricorre il 150° anniversario dell'Unità d'Italia, ma soprattutto perché afferma il primato della fede, dalla quale attinge la fiducia e la speranza per l'Italia e per il suo futuro.
The Pope explained that this statement shows the human spirit is always free, even in the harshest conditions. At Fosse Ardeatine, Jews and Christians pray together for the victims of Nazi barbarism. In an act of respect, Benedict XVI and Rome's chief rabbi prayed together at their graves.
In questo luogo, doloroso memoriale del male più orrendo, la risposta più vera è quella di prendersi per mano come fratelli e dire: Padre nostro, noi crediamo in te e con la forza del tuo amore vogliamo camminare insieme, in pace, a Roma, in Italia, in Europa, nel mondo intero. Amen.
The Pope signed the guest book with a psalm in Latin, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Benedict XVI is the third Pope to visit Fosse Ardeatine. Paul VI paid his respects in 1965, as well as John Paul II in 1982.
One of the Italian military killed at the caves was Colonel Giuseppe Cordero Lanza di Montesimolo, father of retired Cardinal Andrea Cordero Lanza di Montesimolo, who was 18 years old at the time. The cardinal who went to the caves with the Pope told Vatican Radio that he was grateful to the Pope for this gesture, recognizing that he, being German, can't but help but have special feelings. The cardinal said that the families of the victims often meet for commemorations of the anniversary of their loved ones' deaths. The lesson of the caves, he said, is that even a violent atrocity can bring together people of different faiths who have sacrificed their lives, perhaps for different reasons, but always with faith. In news from around the world, a statement on the Catholic Relief Services website March 28th said the agency was resuming operations in western Darfur, Sudan, more than 2 months after evacuating its staff. The statement said that the agency was working with local government officials to ensure food distribution began immediately, and it expressed appreciation for support. 2 days earlier, the agency announced that the government had asked CRS to leave because it said it could not guarantee staffers' security. CRS remained in Darfur in 2009 when the government expelled 13 other aid agencies. In mid-January, more than a dozen CRS workers were evacuated from a remote area of western Darfur with the help of the United Nations after receiving indications of threats. The threats and evacuations came less than 2 weeks after the start of an independence referendum in southern Sudan, in which voters overwhelmingly voted to separate from the north. CRS worked to support programs such as peace-building initiatives and distribution of radios to people so they could educate themselves about the referendum. CRS has worked in Sudan since 1972 and first began responding to the Darfur crisis in 2004. The agency has said if it had closed its food program, more than 400,000 people would have been without food aid. And finally, in news from around the country, according to comments filed by the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, proposed changes in federal housing regulations to forbid discrimination based on sexual orientation or gender identity could violate existing federal law and force faith-based organizations to end their long and successful track record in meeting housing needs. Anthony Piccarello and Michael Moses, USCCB General Counsel and Associate General Counsel, said the proposal by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to add to the list of protected categories for which discrimination in HUD programs is prohibited appears at odds with the Federal Defense of Marriage Act, which says marriage is the union of one man and one woman. The two attorneys filed the comments on behalf of the USCCB late March 25th, the final day of a 60-day comment period on the proposed changes. Well, that is all the information we have for you this time. Please stay with Catholic TV for more Catholic news. Until then, I'm Kevin Nelson, and I'll see you next time on Catholic Newsbreak.